Sometimes I just sit with a question, and it won't let go. This is one of those questions. If God is all-knowing, and all-powerful, and all-loving, then why does most of the human race end up in hell? I'm not trying to be clever. I'm not trying to mock. I'm just genuinely confused. Because if you take traditional Christian beliefs seriously, hell isn't just for the worst people. It's not Hitler-only territory. It's for anyone who didn't believe the right way, who didn't accept Jesus, who grew up in the wrong religion, or maybe just didn't feel convinced. That's the majority of humanity. Always has been. So then, what are we looking at here? A divine plan where most people fail. A system that punishes billions of souls forever for being born into the wrong circumstances. I don't know how to square that with love, or mercy, or even basic decency. Let me try an analogy. It's simple and maybe dumb, but it helps me think. Imagine I build 100 birdhouses. I have total control over the materials, the tools, the design, everything. And before I even start, I already know 90 of them are going to fall apart. Not by accident, by design. I even hang them in spots where I know they'll get rained on, or blown over by wind. Then, when they break, I throw them in a fire, forever. And I say, well, this was a wise use of resources. At that point, you'd probably think I'm either incompetent or insane. Now obviously, we're not birdhouses. But if God creates billions of people knowing that most of them will end up in eternal torment, doesn't that raise the same question? Why make them at all? Why design a system where failure is the default? I'm not saying I know what God thinks. I don't. I'm just trying to follow the logic, and the more I follow it, the darker it gets. Because then I wonder, what if hell isn't a failure? What if it's the engine? I know that sounds messed up, but think about it. If heaven is eternal, and hell is eternal, and God knew from the beginning who would go where, then maybe hell isn't a punishment system. Maybe it's a support system. Maybe hell is what makes heaven work. Like a cosmic power plant. Endless fuel, eternal suffering below, so the glory stays bright above. I'm not saying that's how it is. I'm just saying it would explain a lot. Because if God's goal is to show mercy, burning most of creation doesn't really do that. But if the goal is to build a system with winners and losers baked in from the start, hell begins to make a different kind of sense. And that leads me to one more question I can't shake. If God made a system where most people are damned, then why save anyone at all? If the system is designed to burn, why even bother pulling a few from the fire? If God wanted companionship, couldn't he have made companions who never failed? If he wanted love, couldn't he have designed a world where love wasn't coerced under the threat of eternal pain? If he wanted worship, why build it on a foundation of fear? I don't have answers, just questions. But they won't go away. And when I ask them, people get uncomfortable. They say God's ways are higher than ours, or we just can't understand divine justice. And maybe that's true. But if we're going to base our whole lives, and the fate of our souls, on a belief system, shouldn't we at least be allowed to ask, does this actually make sense? Because right now, when I look at this system, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like something else. And if that something else is driving the whole thing, I think we should all be asking what it really is.